Welcome to another episode of the Vanilla Podcast. Today we've got a good friend of mine, Luke, and he's going to just be talking about his story in high performance sport. And yeah, let's get into it.
We're going to do a round of applause, Ezra.
Cheers. Thanks for having me. Good to be here.
How are you doing, Luke?
I'm doing all good, mate. How are you?
Oh, flip. We're very good. We're very good because you're here.
Second guest. Second choice guest.
Yeah. Hard one to follow up on Lulu. Lulu brought some fire, but I'm sure it's going to be good. Anyway, what are we talking about, Tremaine?
Well, we thought we'd just talk to you about life as an athlete or aspiring athlete.
Yeah.
And kind of just maybe you want to just tell them like what sport you play and get into that first off.
Yeah, so I play hockey. Started off playing soccer, but then switched to hockey and gone that way. Trying to make a career out of it. I just debuted for New Zealand a couple months ago. Got 6 caps for New Zealand now. So hopefully I can add a few more soon. But
What does that mean?
what does caps mean?
Yeah, what does 6 caps mean?
That means how many games you've played.
Yeah.
For the New Zealand,
For the Black Sticks.
For the Black Sticks, yes. So the Black Stick men. So similar to the All Blacks, just obviously not as big, just the hockey version.
Yeah. And
so a
you
little bit smaller.
actually played on the field or started or?
Yeah, I versed Canada, Pakistan,
Dude.
South Korea, Japan, Malaysia. Yeah.
Wow.
So a couple games.
Dang.
Okay, I'm just going to stop you there because I can see your mic's just a bit low and probably the viewers are probably a little bit annoyed with the audio at the moment, but it's fine. But yeah, just with the hockey, was it always your dream to be a pro athlete, and was it always hockey that you were going after?
I would say not always hockey. Obviously, growing up in New Zealand, it's definitely rugby is at the top, but didn't play too much. Played a little bit in primary school and intermediate, and mainly soccer. But yeah, once I got good at hockey and started playing for Auckland in under 13s and then under 15s, it started becoming a definite goal for me to play for New Zealand and represent my country for sure. Yeah.
I remember I went to school with Luke for about 2 years, I think, when we were at Maclean's. But I remember you were in the volleyball team. I remember talking to Tremaine, and you were just an athlete at every sport, though, man. You're a bit of an all rounder. That's what I remember, So getting up there, playing a bit of volleyball, So he must have had it from a bit of a young age. Had a bit of talent in there, and did the parents just push you to do a bit of hockey, and kind of felt a bit more enjoyment in that area, or?
I first played hockey in my brother's summer hockey team. So when I was year 4 and he was year 6. Yeah. So I played with his year 6 friends, and I was already way better than them. Yeah. So I thought maybe I should actually play. Yeah. And then me and my good mate Dylan both joined hockey together in year 5, and because it was our first year playing, they didn't let us trial. So they put us in a random mixed team with beginners, and I scored 42 goals that season.
Wow.
And had a pretty good year. I probably came home every week complaining to my dad that I should win man of the match. I didn't. But that's when I first started playing for club. Yeah. Yeah, in year 5, and I've been at Halk Pack ever since. So over 12 years now. Same club. Nice and loyal for sure. And just grown through the ranks in that. Yeah.
And was there different times you reckon that you were like, oh, I'm just playing this to enjoy it, playing with some friends, and then there was a time where, hey, I switched and I was like, hey, look, I actually really want to pursue this, and there's actually a goal of mine to really take this into my future?
No, I'd say definitely you guys can attest when you're competitive, you're always just trying to be your best or the best. Yeah. There was never a time where I was doing it for fun.
Mm-hmm. What about a PE class, Luke?
PE class, definitely not for fun.
Yeah, you got hard in PE. Come on, were you going easy?
Well, I'm pretty competitive as well. But Luke's always been, competitive. I was in the same form class as him, and
who was more competitive? Yeah.
Oh no, Tremaine's
no, I'm actually very competitive. But he's better than me. Usually at golf, not so much. But even then, he's been close before. But yeah, what I've always admired about Luke is he has dealt well with the pressure. I remember even back in house sport, I was so nervous, playing futsal because it was actually a big deal.
Yeah,
Like
that was a big final.
like legit, our house leader, what was her name? Miss Rebellin or
Rebellin,
something.
yeah.
She would sit us down and we're like year 10,
Yeah.
and just be like, no, we need to win this. And she was dead serious. She wanted Upham House to be the best house. And there was pressure. There was like my sister like in the crowd like screaming at me. And I remember just feeling all this pressure. And I just remember Luke always somehow he performed, okay?
Really?
And I'm not saying I didn't fully perform, but, there's situations where you can kind of tell if someone's more
Built for it.
built for it in a sense. I'm not horrible, like, at pressure situations.
Okay.
Yeah, like, I bet Ezra in a 1v1 in basketball.
Did you bring that up one more time, Jermaine?
But, like, yeah, like, do you think it's something that you're just gifted with, or do you think it's something that you're training?
I would say it's definitely, when you're that young, it's more just like being confident in your skills. As you get older and in the international level, it definitely gets to a new level of like pretty tough. But yeah, especially at that age, I know me and Tremaine played under 14 football together at McLean's, which is not a good football school. And the amount of pressure that we'd get put under to like at that age to like perform, not make mistakes by the coaches and like, I guess other teammates is pretty like unreal for young kids, like at a social East Auckland level. Well, not social, but mid-level East Auckland is pretty crazy. The amount of pressure we put on ourselves sometimes to not make mistakes, which can be pretty difficult.
Do you think as you've gotten into higher levels, the pressure's gotten more, or like it's just been like different, just because you've kind of like grown?
Definitely got more. So I played a season in Belgium where I was getting paid like semi-pro.
Yeah.
And I was getting paid small amount of euros compared to NBA players, but the amount of pressure I felt with 100 of the fans on the sideline, the fact that I was a paid player, I was like international from New Zealand, and I didn't want to make mistakes. Like imagine how like the NBA guys or NFL, the All Blacks would feel with the amount of people watching them. So I felt it even at that low level.
And what would you describe that feeling feels like?
It's pretty daunting. It can be pretty tough and overwhelming, especially in sports when like you need to back yourself and need to be confident. Otherwise you play like in your shell and you don't really go 100%. It can be tough.
Here's a tough take. Dan Carter, if you're not from New Zealand, he was a famous rugby player here.
Okay.
He's got a saying that was pressure is a privilege. Levi said it to me earlier. Is that right?
Don't
pressure.
think that was Dan Carter's quote, eh?
No?
Was it? Who was it, Luke?
It's from a tennis player.
Oh, okay.
But maybe
true.
Dan said it.
Maybe.
Yeah, Dan may have said it, but it was it's on the wall of the US or the Aussie Open by Billie Jean.
Okay.
Or Billie Jean King.
Yeah, she said it first.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
it's an interesting thing because you just kind of said that like pressure can be a bit of a sick feeling inside, but then it's also a privilege at the same time. Like, how do you, and on your own level, we'll all have different opinions, but interpret that quote?
It's like, obviously there's now pressure on you to perform, but you've obviously earned it, and like to earn that level and earn that kind of burden to be on your shoulders from like the work that you put in to even get to that spot. So it's like, you kind of got to look at it. Yeah, this is pressure on me, but like I'm here for a reason. And like that pressure is because I am here, you know what I mean? Not by accident. So I guess that's the only thing I'd say.
Yeah. I'll give you my spin on it.
Okay.
Because I know you guys are asking for my advice as well. I remember back in athletics and cross country, I remember like I went to like zones of cross country, like East Auckland zones, and I would be like crapping my pants like none other. Like at the start line, I was first. Oh no, in primary, I was first for Willowbank, and I wanted to pull out an East Auckland zone because I was so nervous and there was so much pressure.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this is the worst. I remember I used to cry like months before cross country because I was so nervous.
Yeah.
And now, so yeah, it was pretty intense. Like I hated the pressure, but now I look back and I'm like, I look back on those days fondly because I'm like, oh, it's so nice. Like having those times when it's like, that butterfly feeling. Like it's actually a nice
Did you want
to
to
experience
the
it.
nervous pee like just before cross
yeah,
country?
Bro, like
Flipping, yeah.
multiple.
Yeah.
Like,
We got Oscar with the nervous vomit.
yeah,
Oh.
Oscar, every time a sporting event, he'd vomit. He'd
Before every game?
Every time, like
Or
before.
before cross country, some swimming events, he would just have a spew, and he'd know it would come too, so he'd be ready for it just because he would be that nervous.
Really? Do you reckon
That's
different
actually
people
crazy. Like,
feel
Yeah.
nerves differently as well?
I think so. I think everyone obviously feels it, but like, bro, the athletics champs back in the day were next level. Like even the
Different
school ones, like everyone watching on the banks and stuff. And now sometimes when I go back to the track and you smell that athletics,
Oh my
I just
gosh.
get crazy like throwback deja vu of like
Takes you right
half
back.
good but half bad times of like you just being on the track ready and like
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
And I feel like everyone have expectations. They're like, oh, Luke's gonna win it. Luke's gonna win it.
Yeah.
That kind of vibe.
What you put on yourself, for your classmates, trying to do well for your house, like for your family and stuff. I will actually, taking a bit of a twist, I will admit this. I remember in year 7 athletics for BBI, I had a little prayer for one of the first times.
Oh,
And I actually, like, genuinely just said that to God, if he could let me, I'm not asking to win, I'm asking for him to let me do my best and like to be as capable as I can be. He doesn't have to give me the gold medals, but if I perform to what I can perform, then I'll be happy. And I know I went out there and I won high jump, won discus, 200 meters maybe. Still got a couple records at BBI, so check the sheet.
This is what I'm saying. He's an athlete. Just from a young age, just all the sports, you know. So,
Yeah.
Not a lot like that.
But yeah, so trying to deal with
That's
that
odd.
pressure, I maybe just ask.
I
A little bit of that.
I vividly remember being on the bank, one of the 100 people,
On the bank.
and just wishing I would be that good to be in that opportunity.
I
and
wish
it
that was
shows.
me.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far. But yeah, like it shows like, yeah, there's such like, you can wish to be that kind of person, but then like actually being that kind of person, yeah. Yeah, and it's such like a glory or like defeat kind of thing. Like it's so easy to get into this mindset. It's like, I either like win this or I lose this. Like, how do you approach that?
Yeah, that's a whole like another question in itself. Like, what does it even mean to win? Like in a specific isolated school event or like team game. Like, what does even winning that specific scenario even mean? Like, and I guess it's just individual how much you like hold on the victory or pressure you put on yourself. But I was actually thinking about that recently as well. Yeah.
Like, what is winning?
Yeah, what even is winning? Like,
Yeah.
next time someone asks you, and if I lost, I should just always reply with, I'm winning. Like, you know what I mean? Even if you lose, like, I'll probably sometimes be too serious about winning or losing. I probably need to just embrace it all, I reckon.
Because I remember you talking a little bit, Ezra, before that, like some of the top athletes or basketball players, you would say they would have the mindset that I'm the best in the team, and like they would just drill the mindset that, you know, you have to think you're the best, know you're the best, and have to speak it out and both mentally, you know, prepare yourself for it, and that makes you such a great player as well. But you have to be careful, I would say, you know, because you can get quite like a prideful mindset. But, you know, that's how the top athletes do it, you know, that mindset of,
I'm the best.
yeah, I'm the best.
Do you have that mindset when you're on the field?
Sometimes. I
Yeah.
think it's definitely fluctuated through the years, depending on what team I've been in or, what state I've been in.
Yeah.
Of like my own kind of growth. And there's definitely times when you need to be that guy, and there's other times when you just need to do your job and be a role player, and don't try and be the hero. Just boom, like keep it simple, trap, pass, play with speed. Don't try and do everything in one go or by yourself, because that's when you can get in trouble. But
It's hard when you don't have confidence. Like, you could in any sport, it just makes you play like crap because you don't have confidence to to shoot it or to pass it right, and so you're just playing completely whack. But then on the same side, if you're too arrogant and you're like, I'm the best person here, then you take these like make these horrible plays and you're trying to be the hero.
so you mean you got to be like Jason Tatum, just keep shooting it no matter what.
Yes, he's the perfect player.
Even when he's 13-2.
I think you have to though. Like, imagine or Steph Curry.
Yeah,
like
you look at Curry and then look at him at the Olympics and what he did there.
He'd be 13-2 or something. But like, it'd be stupid if
and hit
he
them at
stopped
6 or
shooting.
something, yeah.
Like he has to keep going, and that's when he hits his like.
And it's like if
his
you
form.
give into that moment where you're like, oh, maybe I shouldn't. Like,
Yeah,
are you kind of giving into the fear of like
giving into the mindset of I'm not.
Depends
Yeah.
if you are actually not good enough. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah, you just
but
be
then you know
honest.
you have to be real with it as well.
If you're
you're
Shaq
not-
shooting threes,
yeah.
Know your role.
Then stop. I guess that's where a coach can be pretty damn helpful. Like telling you, what
Yeah.
you're good and aren't really good at.
yeah. Was it hard on the Black Sticks? Like, because I'd assume they were better than the team you played for in Belgium.
Right.
Were they?
It was similar level. There was a lot of
Okay.
Belgium international players that I played against. I actually played against a number of Argentinians,
Oh, okay.
Australian, a couple of French internationals, but most Belgium guys as well. I played against. So it was a pretty tough level, especially for me. I was 19 then, so it was similar. Like, yeah, international was definitely a little step up, but
Yeah. So would you say when you're in maybe the Belgium team or the Black Sticks, would you say like maybe the majority of the guys are better than you from
yeah,
a skill
100%,
level?
100%,
So
yeah.
how do you have the confidence to play well if you're just like, oh well, they're better than me, so I need to just give it to them every time?
Yeah, especially like when you come in and you're new to the team. So it's like,
Yeah.
obviously I'm not going to go out there and be the best on the team or on the
Yeah.
field in my first hit out. Obviously it'd be nice to. Not every player is like I don't know, who's like a super good, like LeBron, or not every player is like a generational
Jason Tatum.
like talent, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I couldn't really expect to go out there and be the best, but I know you just got to trust yourself. Yeah, like that you've done the work and that you deserve to be there. Yeah.
What's kind of like the team talk though? Is there like one guy that thinks he's the best, and everyone's like, all right, we're going to be passing to him. He's running the team, that kind of stuff, or
No, not for hockey. So hockey's like a little bit different. So in basketball, I guess you can kind of give the rock to your star player when you're in trouble. Whereas like hockey, the field's bigger, moves pretty fast. Like one player couldn't do it like by themselves for sure. When I played, we had ex-New Zealand captain like Blair Tarrant, who's a beast, and he would give most team talks and definitely start attacks from the back. He plays like centre back or free man, and when he gets the ball, he definitely start stuff. But there's a couple of players around the field that are explosive, but definitely in hockey, team sport, like you couldn't do it by yourself. It's too big, too fast
Yeah.
of a sport. Yeah.
True. I was wondering, you two play golf quite a bit. Apparently golf is like the biggest sport in terms of like the mental game.
Yeah.
Yeah?
true.
Would you say that's true?
Yeah, like I've been pretty annoyed at golf. I've had some really bad rounds before, especially in competitions in school. I've flunked it before.
Yeah.
But I've also had rounds where I've played really good as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like I'm pretty sure Michael Jordan, like the GOAT, says it. So it's probably true. Like golf is like you make one mistake, and the sad thing is a bad enough mistake can be quite costly for the whole round, especially if you're at that high level. Like a double bogey is like 2 shots is really big, but it also can be made up for. There's many holes. What do you think, Luke?
I don't know really. I think obviously because you're versing yourself, and then like it's obviously there's scores.
Well, you verse me as well.
You play like your own games. You're not directly versing an opponent that could impact your like movements.
True. Yeah.
So I personally think it's easier. In my head, when I play golf, I think every shot's going to be a great shot.
Yeah, you've always said that to me.
Obviously, majority of
Yeah.
the time it's not, but I still kind of believe it.
Yeah.
Whereas in
Optimist.
a different field sport or team sport, it's like it's a mental game for you personally, and then you're also versing the other person, and they're like mental either dominance over you or like success, or your success against them specifically, or the team's like flow and stuff. So it's like it's not just you mentally, it's them mentally as well, and like that can have an effect on you.
Yeah.
I reckon. So
True.
definitely golf is you need a lot of concentration and self belief through stuff, but
Yeah, I think that's the thing where it's like it does become a lot to self belief, and like I remember like it's one of those things like I had in my mind that I could always beat Luke at golf, and I always somehow beat him. Like, and it would come down to the last few holes.
yeah, that was probably
And for some reason, I just knew in my mind. I think you had beat me before, maybe once.
yeah, maybe once or twice.
Yeah,
but
maybe once or twice. But I just had in my mind, and Luke could have been playing better than me for like, really better than me for like majority of the holes. But I had in my mind like, I know I can beat him. Like I just know it. And it's
And you
funny.
did-
I did, and I like put it next to the hole, and I just remember just thinking like the confidence I had. because like you've always been someone before, you know. It's funny how that goes.
Yeah.
You actually recently had a team that you had lost to for how many years? And
Yeah,
then
so
just beat
we'd
them?
lost 3 years in a row in the Auckland final against Southern, and then we're versing them again. And we'd lost 7 finals in a row. So our club hadn't won the Auckland comp since 2012, and we just won it last month.
Wow. That's awesome.
So that was a bit of a definite kind of mental block that we all just had to step over
Yeah.
and get above. And we played a pretty good game and got the W, so that was good.
Yeah. Look, with your top level playing hockey, have you ever had a coach or someone come in for a session to talk about the mental side of hockey or how to handle pressure or self-talk and things like that, and the whole team's kind of sat down and listened to a professional talk about that kind of area?
Yeah, I think through the years there's been a couple, like with Auckland hockey and the Black Sticks, when they try to talk about mental preparation, etc., or like nutrition. They have like little cinemas and stuff.
Yeah,
which can be good.
And do you have like a mental routine that you go through before you hop onto the field, or a bit of self-talk or a little thing that you say, or a routine, tie your shoelaces in a certain way, or?
I definitely have a routine in terms of what I eat. Like
Yeah.
I'm really particular that I'm fueled up good and feeling good, so I have the same food like same time before. Then I would water, always have a banana like 40 minutes before. Yeah, I'm pretty big on like feeling good, which I actually spoke to Blair, one of the other experienced players, about, and he said how you can't rely on feeling perfect to play well. You know what I mean? And you just have to be able to feel shit and still be able to turn up and play really well, which I'm probably struggling with at the next level, because in Malaysia it was like super hot and I didn't feel great. I was sick for most of the tournament, and so that was pretty tough to trying to play the best I'd ever played, and I felt like shit. And so that's definitely one thing I'm trying to work on is not feeling the best, but still being able to give 110%.
Yeah. And do you feel more pressure because you're not feeling great as well? So that like capitalizes on that.
Yeah, then you get even more in your head, or like you think you can't do it, or you're just gassed and you like count the seconds till you're sub off.
Yeah.
Even when you just subbed on. And then like you're just thinking, oh, I'm so gassed, I need to save my energy, like what if I get the ball here? Then like it's like that's pretty tough.
I feel like it gives you an excuse to just like chill a bit. You're like, oh, I can't play my best game, I'm really sick, or it's like bad conditions. So like,
I mean, I definitely had a few thoughts. So I'm like, all good, bro. Here comes the Jordan Flu game.
Yeah.
I can do it.
like that.
It's tougher to execute than said, but definitely it can be an excuse where you kind of just let off in some moments. But then it becomes, well, can you actually even physically push that? But that's a whole nother mental game of how far you can go.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You know how do you guys know how like Kobe and MJ were known for just having that Mamba mentality, just like that killer mindset?
Yeah.
Do you think you have that, Luke?
It's a good question. I would say, I'm not too sure.
It's a big statement, eh? To say.
I think there was definitely times, Tremaine could attest for this, there's definitely times at McLean's in college.
Oh yeah.
When like I would have thought that I definitely.
But there's also times you probably overfought it as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think as I maybe got a little bit older, and just come to realize, like yes, you can have that if you are literally the best in the world, but obviously I'm still trying to get there. So no, I don't think that.
I do find it quite interesting, like looking at some of the tennis guys, like Kyrgios, like someone full of talent, but like his like ego got in his way. He thought he was the best. He maybe had the skills to be the best, but his ego kind of like got in his way. But then you look at someone like Federer, like he like even him, like I like heard a bit of his story. It might not be fully accurate, but I'm pretty sure like he was very like cocky and up himself, like growing up. And I think maybe his coach died or something a little bit traumatic happened, and he had to switch up. And he, the Federer we see is like a very humble guy and had a really good career. I don't know. I do find it quite interesting. Even Novak, debatably one of the best tennis players of all time. Even him, he's a bit more arrogant, and he seems to make it work for himself compared to Djokovic. I think he's got.
I was going to say he was also calm. I thought he was calm.
I wouldn't say he's nothing like Kyrgios, but he's like, I think he sometimes can fuel off the fact that the crowd doesn't like him. Like he gets to the point that he likes that he's like the villain.
He likes the booze.
He likes being the villain, and I think some people can actually like grow off that as well.
Prove you wrong mentality.
Yeah, prove you wrong. But Federer is like, I feel like he was more just on like he still loved winning, obviously, but like just being a bit more of like the good guy, like the good guy, or like trying to do the right thing, I guess.
Well, that's also the question. I think I've spoken to Tremaine about this before. It's like, are you someone who loves to win or hates to lose, kind of thing? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think, you know how I said I was really competitive before. I think it was a hate to lose, competitiveness, and yeah, I personally think it's better to love to win.
It probably is.
Yeah, I think it gets you better results, and I've hoped to move there.
But I think both could be bad though. Both can be good and both can be bad.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Like if you just want to win so much. Oh, actually, I don't know.
My dad always said to me that like, look at a man when he loses, just look at how he reacts, and you'll know who he is, kind of vibe. You know, along those lines, like you're the man when you lose, not when you win. Which is
Luke, what would you say? You love to win, or?
Yeah, I think I would be a love to win.
Yeah.
Because even at times I wouldn't get like I'd want to be upset, but I wouldn't get like overly upset when we actually would lose. It's tough because if you actually think about it, what would make you push harder if you were like losing? Would you push harder because you hate to lose? Or would you be pushing harder because you want to win? I don't know. I feel like hate depends. This is like which is the stronger emotion. You know what I mean? Hate or love.
Wow.
No way you're calling me out like that.
Like what makes us like actually feel something extra in there?
Is it love or pride?
Yeah.
I love to win. I love to win.
You love to win. Okay, yeah. No, it's
But you hate
fair.
to lose. But that's all right.
I also love to win.
You hate you.
I think it takes a lot of honesty to admit it. So I think
Yeah. I
you
think
do admit that.
yeah. As a kid, I was bad. I'd have tantrums when I've lost and stuff, and like you just get older and you mature as well, and you realize that it's not, life isn't about always winning and losing, and just being.
I think they're both. I think we probably all feel a little bit of both.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think love to have a good game. That's probably is that a good mindset, or is that?
You would love to have a good game.
Love to have a good game. Where like, if I'm just playing some futsal like with the boys, I'd love to just have a good game rather than. Like I don't want to smash them.
Yeah,
and then I don't
I
want
see
to
what
get
you're saying.
smashed. Like I want it to be a good competitive game, and then ultimately I'd like to probably win it.
Yes, like some people like are smashing the other person, but still play like their top level. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're still
Yeah.
trying their absolute best, even if they're like absolutely smashing up.
I feel like it is hard for people that are competitive. Like I know Luke, growing up, he was super competitive. So like you probably got teased in PE and stuff for trying too hard. But like it was kind of just your nature. Like that's.
I mean, it's a tough one. It's like if someone does super well in a math exam, then they don't get frowned upon for that. You know what I mean? Whereas PE is just a different form of it's physical education and expression of like your body and mechanics, etc. And then if we were going too hard or too good in PE, like most girls or some guys would have a problem with it.
Yeah.
But that's just what like we liked and excelled at.
Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't mind it too much, I guess.
Yeah.
That was definitely the villain mindset.
In PE.
Yeah,
for sure.
I remember. Yeah.
Or the good battles against your mates when they'd put you on different teams, or you'd be with the
like,
shitty team.
You were like, we were probably like, what was the sport called?
Speedball.
Speedball, bro. Speedball went so hard.
Ruthless.
Oh,
I love
like
it.
dodgeball?
No.
Speedball. It's like 2 minutes.
One touch.
It's like touch, but like like American football
Oh, you can chuck it ahead. Okay.
touch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Diving onto the high jump mats.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh,
So
bro.
competitive.
best.
So good.
You can get touched while you're in the air, though, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Controversial.
There's so many close calls and they like put it on the mat really quick.
And it's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I touched him.
Oh yeah, and then the ref would call it. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
That does sound fun.
Well, yeah, I feel like, we talk about it only in a sports setting, but I sometimes actually say to Luke, I feel like, you know, there's winning and losing in life as well, you know, and there's like, you face similar things if it's in your job, if it's in like running a business, you know, door sales that me and Ezra do, or, you know, even with YouTube, you know, I know you, Ezra, you talk about a lot of highs and lows and dealing with the wins and losses with supposedly what's a win and what's a loss with that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Was there a
you don't know, you know, but like what I'm trying to get at is kind of like, yeah, what's your kind of belief at life? Because like, are we here to live just to win it and try and be ruthless and put ourselves forward? I know as Christians we kind of have different beliefs to that, a bit more of a sacrificial love which would kind of go against, you know, the winning and losing mindset, you know. Yeah, what do you know, like, because winning and losing is very much so of the world, you know. As a Christian, you know, how do you view what's your views on, I'll start with you, Ezra.
Okay.
You know, like, of, you know, pushing yourself forward. You know, I know Jesus says last will be first and first will be last. Well, that's a pretty big statement in itself when it comes to winning and losing, you know.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that even, you know?
Well, I thought about it. Yeah, I guess I've thought about it quite a bit. Because even in other things, like say in your career, let's just say you run a small window cleaning business, for example, and you're just like, I want to have the best window cleaning business in New Zealand, and I want to like win. Is that a bad mindset? Like, I don't think so, but
No.
I guess it's the intention you have behind it. It's probably what I would think. Like, are you doing it just for yourself because you want to get money, or yeah, is there a better reason you're doing it? But yeah, those are just my initial thoughts.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. What do you reckon, Luke?
I don't even understand the question, to be honest.
Do you reckon I think we all have like a desire to be the best, though, way. Like every single one of us wants to like have the best window cleaning business, or no one sets out to fail.
Yeah.
So
The question is it bad to want to be the best in life?
You can definitely be more cutthroat in business. Like, let's be real. You can be cold. You know,
I could be personally, or
no, well, anyone could be. They can be cold and get ahead.
Do you reckon you're more cutthroat than I am?
In business,
Ezra's
yeah,
very cutthroat. You know, he doesn't seem it, but he is. I reckon I'm more of a softie, to be honest. Oh, maybe not. I feel like we're a good mix.
I don't know.
But like,
balance each other out.
yeah, like, I know I definitely feel the pressure of life sometimes, and like the pressure of going well and going bad, and yeah, I speak to Luke about it, you know, because I relate to him on a sense, you know. I feel pressure. I got an exam coming up, and if I fail it, like realistically, like my job lined up, I need to pass the exam. Like, that's a high pressure, you know.
Situation.
You know, I can put, like, I must pass this exam. I can put a lot of pressure on myself to do well, and like, if I fail, like, oh, how could I fail, or whatever. But yeah, I feel like, yeah, kind of recently, even me and Luke, we've been, what show were we watching?
Vinland Saga.
Vinland Saga, just like realizing that, well, personally for me, it's so easy. I still really want to go well, but like, who I am as a person isn't defined off, and this is a belief I'm building, like, isn't defined off me going well or not in this exam. If I fail this exam and I somehow can't get the job, that would suck. You know, it really would suck. But I still think I have a future, you know, and I can't fully judge my being and my value off, you know, the wins and losses, because when things are going well, I can, you know, sweet, you know, things are fine. But when things are low, you know, like my dad said earlier, when I'm low, like, I want to still be there for myself and stuff, you know. So like, yeah, it's just something that, like, you know, that I'm trying to like be more loving. I guess that's what love is, you know. Love doesn't rule, like, I don't know, like unconditionally, you know.
Yeah. So your value isn't defined off your accomplishments.
In a sense, which
Yeah.
maybe it's counterintuitive to the world. I don't know. Maybe it's not.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like the pressures that we put on ourselves are all like super individually related to what you choose to be important. Like, the pressure Tremaine puts on himself to pass the exam, like, means nothing to me. You know what I mean? Or to someone else, their pressure for this means nothing to like Levi, or Levi's goal for this. But we put so much pressure on yourself to do well in that specific area.
Yes.
When like it's purely just specific and means nothing to
Yeah.
in general, just what we give it. You know what I mean?
Yes. And sometimes we can be unrealistic with that, you know what I mean? Just by having some things, you know, probably at different times of our life as well, you know, are more important. The weight of something is more important than other times of our life because we're worried about, you know, making the job or what's most important at that specific time of our life, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like right now, like finding a good career path is really, really important. Like
Yes.
getting some like money right now. I guess probably at all times of your life is important, but
Yeah.
So you talk to someone that's old and it's like, I would even say that thing with the exams, like, don't even worry, son.
Yeah.
yeah.
If I talk to my granddad about it, he'd be like, he'd probably just giggle.
Yeah.
He kind of knows that there's more.
Yeah, there's more than
Yeah.
just...
How can you put yourself out of that mindset of worrying about so much then, or being under pressure about so much? Yeah.
I'll say just like trusting your preparation, academics or in work. Like if you just put in the preparation, so be like, okay, yeah, I have this test or I have this game, then you won't worry about it if you've done this like all this work and this training and this study before it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's oftentimes that we're unprepared is when we get stressed or worried about what the outcome might be. And obviously, even if you are super duper prepared, like you can play good and still lose. Like you can play your best and still lose. You can study your best and still lose.
Yeah.
So it's just like being comfortable with the acceptance of that. It might go wrong, but I've put in all the preparation that I can.
Yes.
And I'm here, and I can do what I can do.
Yeah, I think it's a really good answer. Yeah, because some people can like kind of assume that it's all confidence, but there's a lot of preparation too. Like even with my studies, like I'm preparing for exams a lot earlier than I normally would, and yeah, I guess if I fail, I fail. I'm doing the best I can now. I guess it's when you get in the trap, when you get stressed out and get into procrastination and let that kind of fear kind of like put you off and like freeze you. But,
Yeah.
it's something you just need to work through and push through.
Yeah.
Especially because people and also the world is so result oriented. Like they look at a 93%, they look at an A, they say, he's so smart, or like he's so intelligent or gifted, or he's so athletic, or also like good genetics. But it's like, no, like you actually put in the work for hours and hours. You were disciplined. You like didn't do this. You made sure you did this every single day. And it's like people always just look at the external and then try to make conclusions about why. Whereas in reality, it's a lot of hard work and effort and specific. Like you don't win by accident. You know.
Yeah.
You won't get that question right by accident. I mean, maybe one time out of 100, but to be actually good and consistent at something to a high level is no accident. It's good.
Amen. Well, I think that's all we have for today for this episode.
Yeah. So we have an outro. Would you wanna? I'm pretty sure our last guest joined in on it. Would you wanna
Join in.
join it?
Yeah. I don't know the outro.
For goodness sake. Oh, it's thanks for listening to another episode of the Vanilla Podcast.
Okay.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Vanilla Podcast.